Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of British coin collecting, and in today's video, we'll explore the top 4 most valuable United Kingdom 10 new pence coins. The United Kingdom has produced many coins that look ordinary but can actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors. Among them, the 10 new pence coin is especially interesting because certain years, mint varieties, and conditions make these coins extremely valuable. Looking at different years, mint marks, and conditions that can dramatically increase their value. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom 10 new pence coin from 1968. At first glance, this coin might look ordinary, especially if it appears rusty, worn, or damaged. Many people might even ignore it when they find it in an old coin jar or collection. But believe it or not, even a rusty or heavily circulated 1968 10 new pence coin can attract attention from collectors because of its historical significance and connection to the major currency transition in the United Kingdom. In today's video, we will look at the history of this coin, its unique design features, its rarity and damaged condition, and the potential auction market value in US dollars. To truly understand the importance of the 1968 10 new pence coin, we need to go back to the late 1960s in the United Kingdom. In 1968, Britain was preparing for a major change in its monetary system known as decimalisation. Before this transition, British currency was based on pounds, shillings, and pence, a system that many people found complicated. To help the public adjust, the Royal Mint introduced several decimal coins ahead of the official change in 1971. Among these coins was the 10 new pence, released in 1968. Interestingly, the coin was made the same size and weight as the old florin, or 2-shilling coin, so people could easily adapt to the new system without confusion. This decision helped make the transition smoother for businesses and everyday transactions. The 1968 10 new pence coin was minted in large numbers. Over 336 million coins were produced, making it widely circulated throughout the United Kingdom. Now let's talk about what makes this coin visually and historically unique. The 1968 10 new pence coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the front, also known as the obverse side. The portrait used during this period shows the Queen wearing a royal crown, designed by Arnold Machin. On the reverse side of the coin, you will see the famous crowned lion standing proudly. This design symbolizes strength, heritage, and the long tradition of British coinage. The coin also has several physical specifications that collectors recognize: metal composition, copper-nickel alloy weight, approximately 11.31 grams diameter, about 28.5 millimeters edge. Milled or ridged, these large dimensions made the early 10p coins noticeably bigger than modern 10p coins introduced later in 1992. Now here is where things get interesting. When collectors talk about coin value, condition plays a huge role. Coins that remain in mint or uncirculated condition are usually the most valuable. However, many 1968 10 new pence coins that people find today are in rough condition, scratched, darkened, or even rusty from years of exposure to moisture and dirt. Technically, these coins are not supposed to rust because they are made from copper-nickel, but environmental damage can cause discoloration and corrosion-like effects. Because the 1968 issue had such a large mintage, most coins are considered common. But collectors sometimes still buy damaged coins for historical interest, especially if the date is clear and the design is visible. Some collectors enjoy building complete sets of early decimal coins, even in circulated condition. So what is the value of a 1968 10 new pence coin today? For coins in average circulated condition, the value is usually quite modest. Many price guides estimate the typical value between about 20 cents and $2.17, depending on the condition and collector demand. However, the price can vary depending on where the coin is sold. Some sellers list coins on online auction sites for higher prices, sometimes reaching tens or even hundreds of dollars if they believe the coin has unique features or strong collector interest. But these prices are often asking prices rather than confirmed sales, and in most cases heavily worn or rusty coins may sell for less than $1. Better preserved coins can sell for a few dollars. Uncirculated examples may reach around $3 to $5, or slightly more. Special mint errors or unusual variations could potentially increase the value significantly, but those cases are extremely rare. If you happen to own a 1968 10 new pence coin, here are some useful tips before selling or storing it. First, avoid cleaning the coin aggressively. Cleaning can scratch the surface and actually reduce its value in the eyes of collectors. Second, examine the coin carefully for unusual details such as minting errors, unusual colors, or misaligned designs. Rare errors can sometimes make even common coins valuable. Third, consider storing your coin in a protective holder or coin capsule to prevent further damage. Even if the coin is already rusty or worn, proper storage can preserve its condition. Finally, if you believe your coin might be rare, consider showing it to a professional coin dealer or submitting it to a coin grading service for authentication. To sum up, the 1968 United Kingdom 10 new pence coin is an important piece of British monetary history. While most examples, especially rusty or heavily circulated ones, are not extremely valuable, they still hold historical significance as part of the country's transition to decimal currency. For collectors, these coins represent a fascinating period when the United Kingdom modernized its financial system. Even a worn coin can tell a story about decades of circulation and everyday USE, so the next time you come across an old 10 new pence coin from 1968, don't dismiss it too quickly. Next up, the 1973 10 new pence from the United Kingdom. At first glance, this coin may look ordinary, especially if it appears dirty, worn, or heavily circulated. But many collectors wonder whether such coins could still hold value in the collector market. In this video, we'll examine the history of this coin, its design features, how condition affects its rarity, and most importantly, what a 1973 10 new pence might be worth today in dollars even when it's in poor or dirty condition. The 10 new pence coin was introduced during the modernization of British currency when the United Kingdom transitioned to the decimal system in the late 1960s and early 1970s. The first coins were issued in 1968, even before full decimalization occurred in 1971. These coins replaced the older florin coin, which had the same size and value equivalent to 2 shillings. The 1973 10 new pence was part of the early years of this new decimal system. It was struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and produced at the Royal Mint in Llantrysant, Wales. That year alone, more than 152 million coins were minted, meaning the coin is generally considered common in circulation. Despite the large mintage, many collectors still search for these coins because they represent an important moment in British monetary history. They also belong to the original larger 10p coin series, which was later replaced by a smaller design in 1992. The 1973 10 new pence coin is made from cupronickel, a durable alloy composed mainly of copper and nickel. It has a weight of about 11.31 grams and a diameter of approximately 28.5 millimeters, making it quite large compared to modern 10p coins. On the obverse side, the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. Surrounding the portrait is the inscription Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, which stands for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse design was created by Christopher Ironside and shows a crowned lion standing over the number 10, with the words New Pence below it. This bold and symbolic design represents the strength and heritage of the United Kingdom. Even when the coin becomes dirty or heavily circulated, these details can still usually be recognized, which helps collectors identify the coin easily. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is one of the most important factors in determining value. Coins are graded based on how much wear they show. A coin in mint or uncirculated condition is always more desirable than one that has scratches, corrosion, or heavy dirt. Because over 152 million examples of the 1973 10 new pence were produced, most surviving coins are not considered rare. In fact, collectors usually classify them as common circulation coins. However, a dirty or damaged coin still holds historical interest. Some collectors keep them for educational purposes, coin sets, or as examples of early decimal coinage. If the coin also contains a minting error or unusual metal composition, it could become far more valuable. There have even been reports of rare error coins from this era, such as pieces struck on the wrong metal that have sold for hundreds of pounds at auction. But these cases are extremely rare. So what is the typical value of a 1973 10 new pence coin, especially if it is dirty or worn? According to collector price guides, a circulated coin from this year usually sells for around 48 cents to 94 cents, depending on its condition. In mint or uncirculated condition, the coin may reach about $4 or slightly more in collector markets. However, if the coin is dirty, scratched, or heavily circulated, its value often drops close to face value or just a few cents in the international coin market. Many collectors still buy such coins for bulk lots or historical collections rather than for high investment value. The only situation where the price might rise dramatically is if the coin has a rare minting error, unusual metal composition, or extremely high-grade preservation. If you have a 1973 10 new pence coin in your collection, here are some useful tips. First, avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning can actually reduce its collector value because it may damage the surface and remove the natural patina that collectors appreciate. Second, examine the coin carefully under good lighting. Look for unusual details such as misprints, unusual color, or off-center strikes that might indicate a mint error. Third, store your coins properly. Use coin holders, capsules, or protective sleeves to prevent further damage. Finally, compare your coin with auction listings or consult professional coin dealers to get a realistic idea of its market value. The 1973 United Kingdom 10 new pence coin may not be one of the rarest coins in British history, but it still holds an important place in the story of the UK's decimal currency system. Even in dirty or worn condition, it represents a fascinating piece of monetary history from the early years of modern British coinage. While most examples are worth less than $1 today, rare varieties or coins in exceptional condition can still attract collector interest. So if you happen to find one in an old coin jar, it might not make you rich, but it could still be a meaningful addition to a historical coin collection, and who knows? With careful inspection, you might even discover a rare era coin hiding among ordinary pocket change. Next up, the 1980 United Kingdom 10 new pence coin issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. At first glance, this coin might look like an ordinary piece of change that once circulated in pockets and purses across the UK. However, collectors and coin enthusiasts often look closely at these coins to determine their rarity, condition, and potential auction value. In this video, we will explore the history of the 1980 10 new pence coin, examine its unique features, discuss collector demand even in circulated or damaged condition, and finally reveal its approximate market value in US dollars. The 10 new pence coin is part of the United Kingdom's decimal coinage system that was introduced in the late 1960s and fully adopted during the decimalisation of British currency in 1971. The coin itself first appeared in 1968, designed to replace the old florin coin, which had the same value of 2 shillings in the pre-decimal currency system in 1980. The coin was still produced in its original large format and widely used in everyday transactions across the United Kingdom. These early large 10p coins were minted in cupronickel and remained in circulation until the early 1990s, when a smaller version was introduced. The large version, including the 1980 issue, was eventually demonetized in 1993 and in total, around 88 million 1980 10 new pence coins were minted, making it a common date in the series, though well-preserved examples are still collected by numismatists today. The 1980 10 new pence coin has several distinctive design elements that make it recognizable to collectors. On the obverse, you will find the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II wearing a royal tiara, surrounded by the inscription of her title. This portrait reflects the classic coinage design style used during the late 20th century in the United Kingdom. The reverse side of the coin features the iconic lion passant, a heraldic lion walking with one paw raised and wearing a crown. Beneath the lion is the denomination 10 and the words new pence. This design was created by the renowned British coin designer Christopher Ironside, whose work defined much of the UK's decimal coinage. The coin is made from cupronickel, weighs about 11.31 grams, and measures 28.5 millimeters in diameter, with a milled edge that gives it a distinctive texture. Although the 1980 10 new pence coin had a relatively high mintage, collectors still show interest in certain examples. Coins that have unusual minting errors, unusual coloration, or historical significance can attract attention in the collector market. However, most coins found in circulated or damaged condition are considered common. Because millions were produced, heavily worn examples usually do not carry significant rarity. Even so, coin collectors sometimes purchase circulated pieces to complete date collections or historical coin sets. Coins with extreme wear, scratches, rust-like discoloration, or environmental damage generally fall into lower grading categories. While these coins may not command high prices, they still hold historical value as artifacts of British monetary history. The market value of the 1980 10 new pence coin varies greatly depending on its condition. A typical circulated example is usually worth roughly 47 cents to about 90 cents, which is close to its face value in today's collector market. Coins that are in uncirculated or mint state condition can sometimes reach $2 to $4 or slightly more in collector markets and small online auctions. Of course, if a rare minting error or unusual variation is discovered, the price could increase significantly at auction, as collectors often pay a premium for unique or unusual pieces. But in most cases, the 1980 10 new pence remains a modestly valued coin. If you are interested in collecting British coins like the 1980 10 new pence, there are a few helpful tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the coin's condition carefully. Coins with sharp details, minimal scratches, and original luster tend to be more valuable than heavily worn examples. Second, look for potential minting errors such as off-center strikes, unusual metal coloration, or double lettering. These types of variations can dramatically increase a coin's value. Third, proper storage is essential. Keeping coins in protective holders or albums helps prevent corrosion and damage over time. Finally, research auction records and collector guides to better understand the market value of your coins. In conclusion, the 1980 United Kingdom 10 new pence coin represents an interesting chapter in the history of British decimal currency. While the coin is not extremely rare due to its large mintage, it still holds historical significance and collector appeal, especially for those building a complete set of UK decimal coins and circulated condition. The coin typically holds a modest value of less than $1, but well-preserved examples or unusual varieties may sell for several dollars in the collector market. For many coin enthusiasts, the real value lies not only in the price but also in the fascinating story behind each coin and the era it represents. Next up, the United Kingdom 10 new pence coin from 1970. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another old piece of pocket change. However, collectors know that certain coins, especially older British decimal coins, can hold surprising historical significance and collectible value. In today's video, we'll explore the history, design, rarity, and auction market value of the 1970 10 new pence coin in fine condition. You might even discover that a coin sitting in your collection could be worth more than you think. So stay tuned as we uncover the story and value behind this classic British coin. The 10 new pence coin was first introduced in 1968 as part of the United Kingdom's preparation for decimalisation, which officially took place on February 15, 1971, also known as Decimal Day. Before this change, Britain used the old pounds, shillings, and pence system, which could be confusing for everyday transactions. To make the transition smoother, the Royal Mint began issuing decimal coins a few years earlier, including the 10 new pence. Interestingly, the 10 new pence coin was the same size and value as the old 2-shilling coin, also known as a florin. This helped people adapt more easily to the new currency system. The 1970 10 new pence is therefore part of this important transitional period in British monetary history. Millions were produced for circulation, but today collectors still value these coins for their historical significance and connection to the decimal changeover. The 1970 10 new pence coin has several distinctive features that make it recognizable. On the obverse side, you'll find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait shows the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, and it was widely used on British coins from the late 1960s through the early 1980s. On the reverse side, the coin features a beautifully detailed lion passant guardant, which is a lion walking with one paw raised while looking forward. This design symbolizes strength, courage, and British heritage. The denomination 10 new pence is clearly written along with the year 1970. The coin is made from cupronickel, a durable alloy of copper and nickel that gives it a silver-like appearance. It measures about 28.5 mm in diameter, making it significantly larger than modern 10 pence coins introduced in 1992. While the 1970 10 new pence coin is not extremely rare, collector demand still exists, especially for coins preserved in better grades such as fine, very fine, or uncirculated. A coin described as fine condition usually shows moderate wear but still retains clear details on the design. Even coins that are damaged, dirty, or worn can attract attention from beginner collectors who are interested in completing date sets of early decimal coins. Because many of these coins circulated heavily for decades, finding examples with strong details and minimal damage can sometimes be more challenging than expected. Collectors also look for error coins, unusual strikes, or coins with exceptional preservation, which can dramatically increase value compared to ordinary circulated examples in terms of auction and collector market value. The 1970 10 new pence coin in fine condition typically sells for a relatively modest amount. Most examples are valued between 50 cents and $3, depending on their condition and demand among collectors. Coins in very fine or extremely fine condition may sell for $5 to $12, while uncirculated examples with strong luster could reach $20 to $40 in collector markets or online auctions. However, if a coin has rare mint errors, exceptional preservation, or is part of a special set, its value could be significantly higher. Prices also fluctuate depending on auction demand, collector interest, and overall coin market trends. If you own or are looking to collect the 1970 10 new pence coin, here are a few useful tips. First, always examine the coin's condition carefully. Even small differences in wear can affect value significantly. Second, avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning can damage the original surface and reduce its collectible value. Collectors generally prefer coins with their natural patina and original appearance. Third, store your coins in protective holders or coin albums to prevent scratches, corrosion, or environmental damage. Proper storage helps maintain the coin's long-term value. Finally, if you believe your coin might have a minting error or unusually sharp strike, consider having it evaluated by a professional coin grading service, as this could increase its potential auction value. To sum up, the 1970 United Kingdom 10 new pence coin represents an important chapter in British monetary history, marking the transition to the decimal currency system. Although it was produced in large numbers, the coin still holds appeal for collectors due to its historical context, classic design, and connection to pre-decimal Britain and fine condition. The coin may not be extremely valuable, but it remains a meaningful piece of numismatic history and a great starting point for new collectors. With careful preservation and attention to detail, even common coins like this one can become valuable parts of a growing collection. And who knows, your pocket change or old coin jar might still contain hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next exploration into rare and valuable coins from around the world. Happy collecting!